There comes a moment in almost every life when the face staring back from the mirror feels strangely unfamiliar. You recognize the eyes. You recognize the voice. You recognize the memories. But somewhere beneath the routines, beneath the obligations, beneath the endless noise of surviving, you quietly ask yourself a question that no one else can answer for you. Where did I go? It is one of the most painful questions a human being can ever ask, because it carries a hidden truth. You cannot lose something that was never valuable. You only search for what once mattered. If you are searching for yourself, it means that somewhere inside you still remembers who you were. Before fear became your language, before doubt became your companion, before the opinions of strangers became louder than the whisper of your own soul. Most people believe they need to find themselves somewhere outside. They travel farther. They buy more things. They change careers. They chase relationships. They collect experiences, believing that one more destination will finally reveal the person they were meant to become. But wisdom has always pointed in the opposite direction. The longest journey is not across continents. It is from the mind back to the heart. Some people spend their entire lives running from silence, because silence is where the truth waits patiently. In noise, you can pretend. In distraction, you can escape. In constant activity, you never have to face yourself. But the moment everything becomes quiet, you begin hearing questions that have been following you for years. Why am I exhausted? Why do I feel empty after achieving what I once wanted? Why do I keep abandoning myself just to be accepted? These questions are not your enemies. They are invitations. Life has an unusual way of calling you back whenever you drift too far from your own nature. Sometimes that invitation arrives gently through a feeling of dissatisfaction that you cannot explain. Other times it arrives through pain, failure, loneliness, betrayal, or loss. You think your world is falling apart, but often it is simply removing everything that has kept you asleep. There is an ancient understanding that a seed must disappear before a tree can appear. The seed does not become the tree by adding something. It becomes the tree by letting go of what it can no longer remain. The same is true for you. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering someone ancient within yourself. The world teaches you to build an identity. It tells you to become impressive, successful, admired, wealthy, important. It measures your worth through comparisons and applause. It convinces you that your value depends upon what others think when they see your name. But inner peace has never depended on recognition. The mountain does not become majestic because someone admires it. The river does not continue flowing because someone applauds it. The sun does not rise seeking permission. Nature fulfills its purpose without needing approval. Why have human beings forgotten this simple truth? Because from childhood, we slowly learn to exchange authenticity for acceptance. We begin hiding pieces of ourselves. We become careful with our words. We suppress our curiosity. We silence our emotions. We become experts at wearing masks. Eventually, we wear them so long that we mistake them for our own face. That is why finding yourself again does not begin by discovering something hidden. It begins by removing everything false. This is not an easy process. The false self fights for survival. It whispers that if you stop pleasing everyone, they will leave. If you stop pretending to be strong, people will reject you. If you stop chasing success, you will become nothing. Notice how fear always speaks the language of scarcity. It says, you are not enough. You do not have enough. You must become more before you deserve peace. Yet wisdom quietly replies with another voice. You have always been enough. You have simply forgotten. The tragedy of modern life is not that people lack intelligence. It is that they rarely spend time listening to themselves. Every morning begins with notifications. Every evening ends with endless scrolling. Every quiet moment is immediately filled with another distraction. We have become uncomfortable with simply existing. If there is no entertainment, we panic. If there is no stimulation, we become restless. But what if your greatest breakthrough is waiting behind the discomfort of silence? Silence is not empty. Silence is where the deepest conversations begin. The mind initially resists it because silence exposes everything we have been avoiding. It reveals unresolved pain, forgotten dreams, unspoken grief, hid fears. It also reveals forgotten strength. People often believe strength means becoming louder. Real strength becomes quieter. A weak mind reacts to everything. A disciplined mind chooses carefully. A weak person must prove themselves. A strong person has nothing to prove. A weak heart seeks revenge. A wise heart seeks understanding. The greatest victories are invisible because they happen within. Imagine someone insulting you. The old version of yourself immediately reacts. Anger rises. Pride demands a response. The ego insists on defending its image. But a person who has mastered themselves watches the emotion arrive without becoming its servant. They understand that every reaction is a choice. Every emotion is a visitor. Every impulse is temporary. This is freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel. Freedom is no longer being controlled by every feeling. There is an enormous difference. Discipline is often misunderstood. People imagine punishment, restriction, or endless sacrifice. True discipline is an act of self-respect. It is the decision to stop negotiating with your own highest potential. Every promise you break to yourself weakens your trust. Every promise you keep strengthens your character. Character is not built during extraordinary moments. It is built through ordinary decisions repeated consistently. The decision to wake up despite resistance. The decision to remain calm despite chaos. The decision to tell the truth when lying feels easier. The decision to continue even when no one is watching. Eventually, these decisions create a person whose confidence no longer depends on circumstances. Confidence is not believing everything will work perfectly. Confidence is knowing you will remain steady regardless of what happens. Many people are searching for motivation. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like changing weather. Discipline remains when motivation disappears. If your actions depend upon emotion, your life will always move in circles. If your actions depend upon principle, your life moves forward. The mind constantly searches for comfort. The soul searches for growth. These two directions rarely point toward the same destination. Comfort whispers, stay where you are. Growth whispers, become who you are. Comfort promises immediate relief. Growth offers lasting transformation. One weak decision feels insignificant. Skipping one opportunity, breaking one promise, ignoring one responsibility, avoiding one difficult conversation. Yet your future is quietly shaped by these invisible moments. Life rarely changes through dramatic events. It changes through daily habits, repeated beyond the attention of others. The tree grows silently. The river carves mountains slowly. The sunrise arrives without announcing itself. Nature never rushes. Yet everything is accomplished. There is a lesson hidden here. You do not need to transform overnight. You only need to stop betraying yourself today. One honest decision. One disciplined action. One moment of awareness. One unnecessary complaint left unspoken. One temptation resisted. 1 hour spent improving instead of escaping. People underestimate how quickly small actions reshape an identity. You become what you repeatedly practice. Practice fear, and fear becomes familiar. Practice courage, and courage becomes natural. Practice gratitude, and abundance begins appearing where scarcity once lived. Your life is always reflecting your inner habits, not your intentions, not your dreams, not your wishes, your habits. Many people say they want peace, but they practice anxiety. They rehearse worst-case scenarios. They constantly compare themselves with others. They feed resentment. Then they wonder why peace never arrives. Peace cannot grow inside a mind constantly at war with itself. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life eventually becomes chaotic. Everything begins within. The greatest prison has no walls. It is the belief that you cannot change. Once someone accepts that lie, they stop trying. They settle. They survive instead of living. They slowly become strangers to their own potential. Potential is one of the saddest words in the human language because it describes what could have existed but never did. Imagine reaching the end of your life and meeting the version of yourself that could have emerged if fear had never become your master. Imagine seeing the courage you never used, the kindness you never expressed, the discipline you abandoned, the wisdom you ignored. That meeting would be unbearable. Not because life was difficult, but because so much remained untouched. Do not fear failure nearly as much as you fear unused possibility. Failure teaches. Comfort sedates. Failure humbles. Comfort weakens. Failure forces growth. Comfort delays it. Some of the strongest people alive were not born stronger than everyone else. They simply stopped running from difficult things. Every challenge became training. Every disappointment became instruction. Every setback became preparation. When rain falls upon hard ground, some complain about the storm. Others plant seeds. The difference is not the weather. The difference is perception. Your perception shapes your reality more than your circumstances ever will. Two people can experience the same loss. One becomes bitter. The other becomes wiser. One closes their heart. The other opens it wider. The event remains identical. The interpretation changes everything. This is why mastering your mind is among the greatest responsibilities you will ever carry. Your mind is a remarkable servant. It becomes a terrible master. If you do not direct your thoughts, they will wander wherever fear leads them. If you do not guard your attention, someone else will purchase it. Attention has become one of the world's most valuable currencies because whatever receives your attention eventually shapes your identity. Protect it. Choose carefully what enters your mind. Choose carefully who influences your spirit. Not every voice deserves space inside your consciousness. Some people constantly speak from fear. Others speak from anger. Others spread cynicism until hope begins feeling foolish. You become like whatever you repeatedly consume. Guard your inner world with the same care you would protect your own home. You would not allow anyone to throw garbage into your living room every day. Why allow negative beliefs to accumulate inside your mind? Mental cleanliness is just as important as physical cleanliness. Every day requires letting go. Let go of resentment. Let go of comparison. Let go of yesterday's mistakes. The river remains fresh because it continues flowing. The mind remains healthy because it continues releasing. Holding on to anger is like carrying burning coals while expecting someone else to suffer. Eventually you realize forgiveness is not something you give another person. It is something you give yourself. Not because the past deserved mercy, but because your future deserves freedom. The strongest hearts are not those that never break. They are the hearts that remain open after breaking. Pain changes everyone. The question is whether it makes you harder or deeper. Some people build walls. Others build wisdom. Some lose faith in humanity. Others discover compassion because they now understand suffering. Pain itself is neutral. It becomes whatever you decide to create from it. Within every hardship hides an opportunity to become someone impossible to destroy from the inside. Because external events lose power over the person who has developed inner stability, storms will continue arriving. Criticism will continue existing. Loss will continue visiting. Uncertainty will remain part of life. The goal is not to eliminate the storm. The goal is to become the kind of person who remains centered while standing in the middle of it. A tree with shallow roots fears every wind. A tree with deep roots welcomes the seasons. Become deeply rooted within yourself, not through pride, not through stubbornness, but through quiet understanding. Know who you are before the world tells you who to become. Now your values before temptation offer shortcuts. Now your purpose before distraction steals another year of your life. Because the world is full of people who are busy without direction. They move constantly, but arrive nowhere. Activity is not progress. Motion is not transformation. You can spend years climbing a ladder, only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. That is why reflection matters more than speed. Slow down enough to ask difficult questions. What truly matters? What kind of person am I becoming through my daily choices? What habits are quietly shaping my future? Who am I when nobody is watching? These questions cannot be answered in a single afternoon. They become companions for a lifetime. And each honest answer removes another layer of illusion until, little by little, the person you thought was lost begins to emerge again. Not as someone untouched by struggle, but as someone refined by it. Someone whose strength no longer depends on perfect circumstances, whose peace no longer depends on external approval, and whose direction no longer depends on the opinions of the crowd. There comes a point when you begin to realize that the greatest battle was never against the world outside of you. It was always against the voice within that insisted you were too late, too broken, too ordinary, or too weak to begin again. And the day you stop believing that voice is the day something quiet, steady, and unshakable begins to awaken deep inside you. Because every transformation begins long before the world can see it. A seed buried beneath the earth does not look impressive. No one applauds it. No one celebrates it. From the outside, it appears as though nothing is happening. Yet beneath the surface, life is unfolding in complete silence. Roots are reaching into darkness before branches ever touch the light. There is profound wisdom in this. Our generation has become obsessed with visible results while ignoring invisible preparation. We want confidence before courage. We want success before discipline. We want recognition before mastery. But nature has never worked this way. The unseen always comes before the seen. The invisible creates the visible. Your private habits eventually become your public reality. The conversations you have with yourself when no one is listening become the life everyone else eventually notices. That is why your greatest responsibility is not to impress people. It is to become the kind of person who remains faithful to the work, even when there is no audience. There are moments when you will wonder whether your effort is worth it. You will wake up early while others continue sleeping. You will choose discipline while others choose comfort. You will say no to temporary pleasure for the sake of a greater future. At times, it will feel lonely, not because you are walking the wrong path, but because very few people choose the difficult road willingly. Understand something that many overlook. Loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the absence of connection. Solitude is the presence of yourself. One weakens you. The other rebuilds you. If you cannot enjoy your own company, you will spend your entire life depending on distractions to avoid yourself. But when you learn to sit quietly with your own thoughts, without needing constant entertainment, something extraordinary begins to happen. The noise settles. The mind becomes clearer. Your intuition grows stronger. The answers you chased outside begin appearing from within. The world tells you to speak louder. Wisdom teaches you to listen more deeply. Listen to your habits. They reveal what you truly believe. Listen to your reactions. They reveal what still controls you. Listen to your excuses. They reveal where fear has disguised itself as logic. Every excuse sounds reasonable. That is why it is dangerous. I'll begin tomorrow. I don't have enough time. I'll start when life becomes easier. But tomorrow has become the hiding place of countless dreams. Life does not become easier before you become stronger. You become stronger by facing life exactly as it is. There is a subtle difference between waiting for the right moment and preparing yourself within the present moment. One keeps you trapped. The other sets you free. Many people postpone becoming the person they already know they should become. They postpone honesty. They postpone discipline. They postpone forgiveness. They postpone courage. Years pass quietly. One season becomes another. The calendar changes. The heart remains unchanged. Time never transforms anyone by itself. Only conscious choices do that. If time alone created wisdom, every older person would automatically become wise. Yet experience only becomes wisdom after reflection. Without reflection, years simply accumulate. With reflection, even suffering becomes a teacher. Look carefully at your life. Every difficult chapter carried a lesson hidden beneath the pain. Every disappointment redirected you away from something that could not sustain you. Every delay strengthened a part of you that immediate success never could have developed. Patience is not passive. Patience is active trust. It is continuing to plant seeds without demanding fruit before its season. There is incredible strength in waiting without becoming discouraged. The impatient person constantly digs up the seed to see whether it has grown. The patient person waters it faithfully. One destroys progress through anxiety. The other allows life to unfold naturally. This is the rhythm of true growth. Some days you will feel powerful. Some days you will feel uncertain. Continue anyway. Some mornings your mind will be focused. Other mornings it will wander. Return it gently, again and again. Mastery is not perfection. Mastery is returning after failure, returning after distraction, returning after discouragement, returning after doubt. The strongest people are not those who never lose their way. They simply become experts at finding their way back. Every day offers another opportunity to return to your values. Return to your purpose. Return to your discipline. Return to your peace. Never confuse a temporary setback with a permanent identity. A single mistake does not define your character. One difficult season does not define your future. The sky remains vast, even when covered by clouds. Likewise, your true nature remains untouched beneath moments of confusion. Do not become attached to passing emotions. Feel them. Observe them. Learn from them. But do not become them. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness capable of witnessing all of them. This realization changes everything. Once you understand that every thought is simply passing through your mind, you stop treating every thought as truth. Not every voice inside deserves your trust. Some thoughts are echoes of old wounds. Some are inherited fears. Some are habits repeated so often they sound convincing. Question them. Ask yourself, is this thought leading me towards strength or away from it? One honest question can interrupt years of unconscious living. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you constantly water resentment, resentment flourishes. If you water gratitude, gratitude deepens. If you nourish discipline, discipline expands into every area of your life. The remarkable thing about the human spirit is that it becomes stronger through use. Courage grows by acting courageously. Patience grows by practicing patience. Kindness grows by expressing kindness. Confidence grows by keeping promises to yourself. Nothing meaningful develops by accident. Everything valuable is cultivated intentionally. Imagine the sculptor standing before a block of stone. To someone passing by, all they see is rock. The sculptor sees possibility. With each careful strike, another unnecessary piece falls away. The sculpture was never created by adding. It was revealed by removing. You are much the same. Your journey is not about adding endless achievements to prove your worth. It is about removing everything that hides your true nature. Remove unnecessary fear. Remove constant comparison. Remove bitterness. Remove laziness disguised as comfort. Remove the need to impress everyone you meet. With every layer released, your authentic self becomes more visible. The world often mistakes simplicity for weakness. Yet simplicity requires immense strength. It takes discipline to focus on what truly matters, while countless distractions compete for your attention. Your attention is precious. Spend it carefully. Every moment spent feeding negativity is a moment stolen from your own development. Every hour invested in meaningless distraction is an hour that could have been shaping your future. This does not mean your life must become joyless. It means your joy should come from things that strengthen you rather than weaken you. There is joy in meaningful work, joy in learning, joy in serving others, joy in becoming slightly better than yesterday. The deepest satisfaction does not come from consuming more. It comes from becoming more conscious. Many search endlessly for purpose without realizing purpose often reveals itself through responsibility. Take care of what is already in front of you. Do today's work with excellence. Speak honestly. Treat people with dignity. Honor your commitments. Improve your mind. Strengthen your body. Protect your character. Purpose rarely arrives as a dramatic revelation. More often, it quietly unfolds while you faithfully carry out what today requires. The mountain is climbed one deliberate step at a time. No single step reaches the summit, yet every step matters. Likewise, your future is hidden inside today's smallest decisions. Never underestimate ordinary days. Extraordinary lives are built from ordinary days, lived extraordinarily well. There is another truth that many resist. Growth demands sacrifice, not because life wishes to punish you, but because your hands cannot hold something greater while they remain tightly closed around what no longer serves you. You may have to release old habits, old friendships that constantly pull you backward, old beliefs that limit your potential, old versions of yourself that once provided comfort, but now prevent expansion. This can feel painful. We naturally become attached to familiarity. Even suffering becomes familiar after enough time. People sometimes remain in situations that slowly drain their spirit simply because uncertainty feels frightening. Yet every meaningful transformation asks you to walk through uncertainty. The caterpillar cannot negotiate with change. It cannot remain exactly as it is while becoming something greater. There is a period when everything familiar dissolves. If you observed only that stage, you might believe destruction was taking place. In reality, creation was unfolding. There may be seasons in your own life where you feel as though everything is falling apart. Plans fail. Relationships change. Certainty disappears. The person you used to be no longer fits. The person you are becoming has not fully emerged. This space between identities can feel uncomfortable. Do not rush through it. The space between endings and beginnings is where wisdom matures. It is where patience is tested. It is where faith becomes real. Most people abandon themselves in this uncertain space because they mistake discomfort for failure. But discomfort is often evidence that something inside is stretching beyond its previous limits. A muscle grows only after resistance. Character grows the same way. Each challenge invites you to ask a single question. Will I become smaller because of this? Or will I become deeper? Life presents that question again and again. Every criticism, every disappointment, every temptation, every unexpected obstacle, every silent battle, no one else knows you are fighting. The answer is never spoken with words. It is written through your response. That response slowly becomes your character. Character becomes destiny. And destiny is not a mysterious force waiting somewhere in the future. It is quietly being shaped this very moment by the way you choose to think, the way you choose to act, the way you choose to stand when life invites you to sit down. and the way you choose to remain faithful to your highest principles, even when no one would know if you abandoned them. It is in those unseen moments where applause cannot reach and recognition cannot follow that your deepest identity is forged, and it is there, in the quiet workshop of your own soul, that you begin to discover a strength that no circumstance can give and no circumstance can ever take away. Because the strongest foundation is the one no storm can reach. There will always be another challenge, another uncertainty, another temptation to abandon the path you promised yourself you would walk. Do not be surprised by this. Life is not asking whether you can avoid difficulty. It is asking whether you can remain true to yourself while walking through it. Every sunrise offers the same quiet invitation. Begin again. Not because yesterday was meaningless, but because today is alive. 2. Many people carry the weight of yesterday into the possibilities of today. They replay old failures until they become identities. They repeat old disappointments until hope begins to feel dangerous. Yet the past has only one true purpose: to teach, never to imprison. Your mistakes were lessons. Your setbacks were classrooms. Your wounds were invitations to understand yourself more deeply. Do not build your home inside what was meant to be your teacher. Take the lesson, leave the prison, walk forward. There is a remarkable peace that comes when you stop arguing with reality. Not because everything is perfect, but because your energy is no longer wasted wishing the past had been different. Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is clarity. It is seeing life exactly as it is, so that your next step can finally be taken with strength instead of resistance. And once you begin taking responsibility for your next step, something extraordinary happens. Your confidence changes. It no longer comes from knowing every answer. It comes from trusting yourself to keep moving, even when answers have not yet appeared. This is the confidence that cannot be borrowed. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be given by praise. It is earned through thousands of quiet moments when you chose discipline over excuses, purpose over distraction, and truth over comfort. People often ask when life begins to change. It changes the moment you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. No mentor can walk your path. No book can breathe on your behalf. No speech can replace your own decisions. Words can inspire. Wisdom can guide. But only action transforms. There comes a day when inspiration must become habit. Habit must become character. Character must become destiny. Do not underestimate the power of one decision made with complete commitment. One decision to wake before your excuses. One decision to guard your thoughts. One decision to honor your word. One decision to forgive. One decision to remain calm when anger demands control. One decision to continue after failure whispers that you should quit. These moments appear ordinary. They are not. They are the architects of your future. The world celebrates dramatic victories. Life is built through invisible ones. Every time you choose patience instead of impulse, you become stronger. Every time you choose integrity instead of convenience, you become freer. Every time you choose discipline instead of comfort, you become more capable of carrying the life you dream about. Do not chase greatness. Become faithful to excellence in small things. Greatness arrives quietly to those who have stopped chasing appearances and started honoring principles. Remember this whenever you feel discouraged. The oak tree was once fragile. The river was once a drop. The mountain was shaped one grain at a time. Everything enduring begins humbly. Never despise small beginnings. Protect them. Nurture them. Repeat them. One day you will look back and realize that what felt insignificant became the turning point of your entire life. There will also come moments when no one notices your effort. Continue. Moments when your progress feels invisible. Continue. Moments when doubt returns, wearing a familiar face. Continue. Not because continuing is easy. Because continuing is who you have decided to become. The greatest promise you will ever keep is the promise you make to your own soul. Do not betray it. The world may misunderstand your silence. Remain peaceful. The world may question your discipline. Remain consistent. The world may laugh at your patience. Remain steady. Eventually, time reveals what noise never could. The disciplined person does not need to announce their growth. Their life becomes the evidence. There is a quiet dignity in becoming someone who no longer needs to convince anyone of their worth. Imagine waking each morning without the burden of comparison. Imagine walking through life without constantly seeking approval. Imagine looking in the mirror and knowing that regardless of success or failure, praise or criticism, gain or loss, you have remained loyal to your deepest values. That is wealth, that is freedom, that is victory. Because the greatest achievement is not building an empire while losing yourself. It is building yourself so completely that no circumstance can take away who you have become. The strongest people are not those who dominate others. They are those who have learned to govern themselves. They have disciplined their thoughts, refined their emotions, strengthened their character, softened their ego, expanded their compassion. Their presence becomes peaceful because there is no war left within them. This is the paradox. When you stop chasing the world, you finally have something meaningful to offer it. When you stop demanding respect, your character naturally earns it. When you stop trying to appear powerful, true strength begins to radiate from you without effort. Your life becomes your message, not your words, not your image, your life. The way you respond to pressure, the way you treat people who cannot benefit you, the way you remain humble after success, the way you remain hopeful after disappointment, the way you continue choosing what is right, even when what is easy stands directly in front of you. Never forget that someone is always being encouraged by the example you are setting. Perhaps they never tell you. Perhaps they never even meet you. But courage has a way of awakening courage. Peace awakens peace. Discipline awakens discipline. Become the example you once needed. Become the voice that reminds others what is possible. Not through perfection, through authenticity, through persistence, through quiet consistency. One day, your greatest source of pride will not be the things you owned. It will not be the titles you collected. It will not be the applause you received. It will be the person you became while no one was watching. The fears you faced, the temptations you overcame, the habits you transformed, the promises you kept, the peace you protected, the love you gave, the wisdom you earned. That is a life no one can take from you. So when you leave this moment and return to the ordinary rhythm of your days, remember that your future is not waiting somewhere ahead. It is being created by the next thought you choose, the next word you speak, the next habit you strengthen, and the next decision you refuse to postpone. Do not wait for another year. Do not wait for another crisis. Do not wait until you feel fearless. The person you are searching for is not waiting at the end of the journey. That person is revealed with every courageous step you choose to take today. Walk with intention. Speak with honesty. Work with discipline. Stand with humility. Protect your peace. Master your mind. Honor your purpose. And whenever life asks you who you are, answer not with promises about what you will someday become, but with the quiet strength of what you consistently choose to do. For the greatest victory you will ever achieve is not over circumstance, not over competition, and not over the opinions of the world. It is over the person you used to be. The day you master yourself is the day your life truly begins. From that moment forward, nothing outside you will ever be more powerful than what you have built within.